Hello and welcome to my first Vita review, Uncharted Golden Abyss. Apologies that I've went up a little bit later than I thought. Literally it's to do with my brother's shifts and editing them and the amount of setup this takes. I don't think I've ever had a handheld that took this much setup, and it's because I've got a large back catalogue of PSP games to transfer over, and then there's some faults with transferring things over and that, but it still is a little annoying that it's taken quite a while. Anyway, at the start of the game, you can go into your new game, you load game your options, you can then get the black market, which is part of the 3G near stuff, leaving treasures for people. It's something that I'll never do because I don't have the 3G version, because I don't really ever plan to leave the house with this. It's too shiny, it's too nice, and it's too expensive. And the features that it has to leave the house with aren't really as rewarding as I think with the DS. But either way, the options menu, when you go into it, you can choose a few controls. You can choose your aiming, inversion and sensitivity, you can choose your camera, you can choose your motion sensor stuff to be on or off, but you can't turn all of the gimmicky stuff off because that's not the whole point of the game. The whole point of the game is to enforce the gimmicky stuff even if you don't like it. Usual rules apply with an Uncharted game. I don't really want to ruin anything, so quite simply I'm going to start on the prologue. I'm on a clean memory card. All I've got is prologue save data set up from where reviews have failed and I've had to restart them because I started a jumble. Either way though, I'm just going to cut into the game now. So here we go. As I was saying, usual rules apply with an Uncharted game. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone because these games are just so immense and vast, it's unbelievable. So I'll just be sticking to facts and I'll not be showing off anything major, and as with the DS vids, there's going to be no volume because getting the level right's annoying, especially on the Vita, which I think has very underpowered speakers. I find myself playing with the my Bluetooth headphones on just to be able to hear the games properly, and I think the sound quality on my headphones is better as well. Either way though, it is your bog standard Uncharted game, just with a load of gimmicky stuff added. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. For example, touching the touchscreen to climb to ledges, I personally think takes you out of the actual gameplay. So for example, there's a load of gold things there, I'd touch and he'd automatically go, and then you're no longer playing the game, you're watching the game, and I think it takes you out the experience. I don't like it. There's then things like swiping to paddle, swiping to slash through pieces of cloth in your way and open doors. There's things like using the camera on the rear, which is that thing there, to be able to decipher messages and that. And some of them, as I say, do work, some of them don't. Regardless, not everyone's going to like everything the same, so you might find yourself liking the rear cam but hating the swiping to paddle, whereas you might find yourself loving the swipe to paddle and hating the rear cam. Either way though, other than, as I say, the gimmicky stuff, it is an Uncharted game at heart. You get some guns, you get some third-person shooter action, which has never really been up to par on the likes of Gears of War as far as I'm concerned, but I don't buy the games for third-person action. I buy them for these, and I might as well at least show off the touching to do it. So for example, I want to go there, so there we go, I'm there. I now have to tilt the Vita in order to jump over there. And that's what I mean. I think they take you out of the game using them personally. Anyway though, I don't, as I was saying, I don't buy the games for the third person shootiness. I buy them for the excellent story, the excellent cast, the excellent voice acting, and the excellent exploration gameplay. I mean, I love collecting the treasures and that. I love this, tons of things about Uncharted, and this does a lot of things right and it does some things wrong. For example, the story isn't up to scratch with the console versions, I don't think personally. It still is really good though, and Nate and Sully and them do, yet again, the guys playing them do a stellar performance. Nolan North, I believe, is Drake. I can never remember who Sully is, which is annoying because I'm pretty sure I've actually seen him in other games and films. But anyway, they do excellent. It's just the new characters aren't as great as, for example, Elena, Chloe, and people like that who were in older games. Well, technically they're older games, but as this is a prequel, it's set before them, technically they're newer games. Either way though, it's a solid first effort, and if you love Uncharted and you've been contemplating a Vita just for this game, I possibly think it might be worth it. There's no online multiplayer or anything, it's strictly a solo game, but there's so much of the solo game. I mean, there's 35 chapters, I believe, including the prologue. It might be 34 including the prologue. It might be that some people are counting the prologue as a chapter and some people don't, but either way, there's around that number. But despite sounding like there's a load to the gameplay itself will last you around about the same as Uncharted 3. However, that's only if you want to do the one playthrough. If you want to go for the collections, there's over 300 things to search and find. There's then a huge puzzle element been added to this, because this game, if anything, is more of an Uncharted than the other games, because Nathan is actually now a proper explorer. He does the stuff that you see the likes of Indiana Jones doing, and you see the likes of other explorers doing in cutscenes, where, for example, you'll pull up your journal and then there'll be a puzzle piece in front of you, and you'll have to twist it around, and you'll have to try and build a map, and you'll have to do charcoal rubbings or rub across the screen to decipher stuff. It's amazing the level of detail of put into doing that, and it's the type of thing that it's a shame it can't ever really be done on the PlayStation 3 without using the Vita as a controller. Apologies for the little cut there. Someone rang, and now I'm just desperately trying to remember what I was saying. I believe I was talking about the touchscreen functionality and the exploration bits that have never been on Uncharted before, that unfortunately can't really be on Uncharted again unless the next Uncharted game allows you to connect your Vita and every now and then use it as a controller, which I'd love for them to do that. I think it would be really great if it came up something like you can use the analogs or plug in, well, not plug in so much because it's got Wi-Fi, connect your Vita now and do this, that and the other to scrape around I don't know, dig for treasure or dig for clues or do the graphite charcoal drawings, things like that. It would be really cool. I'd love to see them do it, because as I say, I personally think this feels more like an Uncharted game than any other Uncharted game, because it's more of an exploration thing. There's more to do. It's just, obviously, there's no online multiplayer, so people will complain about that. But as I said, I've never bought the game for third-person shooter. I personally think the Gears of War franchise is probably the best third-person shooter out there. I love this for a different reason. I don't love it for the TPS element. I love it for the exploration, the platforming, the story, things like that and everything, and I just think it works well and plays well, and as I say, this one does more of that. So if you come at Uncharted from that angle, you'll probably love this as much as I do and think it's even better than the console ones. If you come at it wanting to play it as a third-person shooter and play it online, you'll probably think it's worse than the console ones. However, just summing up, as I say, there's a hell of a lot to do, there's a hell of a lot of replay. You've got the 35 chapters, you've got the over 300 bits of treasure in that you can do, some on the black market and leave things with Neo and that with a 3G, which I don't have, as I say, because I'll never take it out of the house. It really is, it's too shiny and new, it doesn't really transcend through the camera, but when you get your own, you'll look at it and you'll think, you know what, that's too nice to leave the house. It's a weird feeling. It's a portable console. It's supposed to leave the house, but you look at it and you think, no, that's not leaving the bedside table. But that's pretty much all I could say without warbling on more. It's just a great Uncharted game. You'd swear that it was a console experience in the palm of your hands. But then again, the God of War games, I absolutely adored the God of War games on the PSP. I thought they were far better than the PS2 and PS3 God of War games. I still do think they're the best in the franchise. So maybe I just like handheld versions of games more. I don't know. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.